Episode 2 of Territory has Graham thanking Daniel for dying so he can take over the station. Susie is given cleaning work as Emily tells her to start from the bottom if she wants to join the station. A sober Graham gets ready to run for the president and believes if anyone else takes over, they will destroy the Lawson legacy. He wants Colin's backing since Marshall is gone. However, Colin doesn't trust Emily to find his grandson and has enlisted the Mackenzie brothers to find Marshall. Along with wanting him back, he also wants the quad bikes Marshall stole. Elsewhere, we see Marshall and Sharni steal and sell crocodile eggs. Rich looks jealous as the two banter and takes every chance he gets to knock Marshall down a few pegs. As for Emily, she asks for Hank's help in finding Marshall. He plays hard to get like making her rebrand his stolen cattle but agrees to help. We see that while Emily doesn't like her family's thieving strategy, she is good at it. As they search for Marshall, she also helps Hank get out of trouble with some loan sharks. In return, they end up telling her about Marshall's hideout. At the same time, Nolan is in trouble as he is trying to do his best to raise his cattle station but to no avail. At the same time, he is forced to take Detsy, a troublemaker, under his wing. They head to the Federation meeting where Colin backs Graham and Campbell also runs for president. As the two secure votes, Sandra offers Graham a deal while tempting him with liquor. She will back him if he excludes Colin. He refuses but upset, he ends up taking the drink. He has a couple more and gets drunk, creating a scene. Nolan has to drive him home and confides in Detsy that the Lawsons are over. At the meeting, the voting commences and Colin is humiliated and leaves. Hank and Emily show up at the hideout only to find Rich. However, he throws their keys and runs off with the stolen Lawson quad bikes. While searching for the keys, Hank and Emily bicker. He doesn't like that she turned her back on them. As for her, she wants the best for her daughter and he figures out her deal with Colin about including Susie. Meanwhile, Lockie shows up at Marianne by pretending to lose his wallet. He hangs out with Susie who practices horse riding and they kiss. As for her half-brother, he steals cattle for a butcher. Rich once again locks heads with Marshall and messes with the cows. He ends up getting trampled and is rushed to a vet. The vet knows Hank and informs him. The Hodges rush to her place only to find Rich alone again. Marshall and Sharni head to the butcher and after they are paid, they retire to their hideout. They have fun together and end up confessing that they like each other. They almost kiss, but the Mackenzies show up. They threaten Marshall with a gun, but Hank and Emily come to their rescue. Emily tries to convince Marshall to come home, but he refuses as he claims Colin doesn't care for him. Instead, he advises her to leave with Susie as well. As the Hodges leave empty-handed, Hank wonders about Emily's deal. She isn't sure what to do next when she gets a call from Sandra. At home, Susie and Graham are hanging out when Colin barges in. He whips Graham and Susie is scared. At the end of Territory Episode 2, Marshall is angry with Colin and decides to steal his cattle. The trio reaches the station and sees someone is already stealing the cattle. Territory Episode 2 adds more players to the mix, such as Nolan's community trying to launch their own cattle station. Then there's Hank, who doesn't seem all bad as he not only runs around town for his sister's sake, but also saves his step-nephew from the Mackenzies. And then there's that mysterious group stealing from the Lawsons when Marshall shows up. Bet it has something to do with Campbell or Sandra. But we are still not sure where this Netflix show is headed. There are too many subplots with the trio's love triangle, Nolan mentoring Detsy, Lockie pursuing Susie and Sandra doing vague things. There is no overarching driving force that will keep viewers hooked and ready to tune into the next episode. Hopefully, things will pick up soon since the show is still stuck with exposition.